The Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Real Doctor Who fans with real Doctor Who opinions.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast, a podcast dedicated to discussing and reviewing all things Doctor Who, Big Finish, and other science fiction and pop culture stuff that tickle our fancy, such as the reveal of Mary Jane Watson being the host for the Venom symbiote. Yeah, that recently just happened. Anyway, that being said, this is episode 370 of the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. I am your host, Brett, and in this episode, I'm going to be looking at all the news relating to the latest season of Doctor Who, preparing to be aired as of day of recording, 6 days away, as of release of this podcast, day of. So there could be some new news, some old stuff, but hey-ho, here we go. And discussing the idea of news, one of the things that I really want to kind of discuss is and something I find really sad is a lot of the articles that I pulled up getting ready for this podcast, there were 3 of them that were all talking about a third season confirmed revolving around Doctor Who, which is a good thing because, you know, as the end of this season, season 2, and then we have the war against the land and the sea, you know, all of the Disney money has been used up to this point, and we don't even have a Christmas special announced at all, regardless, or let alone a third season. However, there were 3 articles that I pulled up revolving around season 3, and all of them were released on the 1st of April. So, I guess you could say season 3 currently is more of a joke in existence than actually in actuality. So I find it really quite sad that that's where the show is currently. Now, again, like we previously discussed, do I think that the show is going to be canceled? No, I think that there's probably going to be some sort of hiatus, some sort of pause, and I think there's going to be a retooling. At least that's what I would hope for. I love Doctor Who, and I will always love Doctor Who. I hope I never get into the point where it just becomes, the frustration means that you care about something. When you are apathetic, as most people know, that you've neither loved nor care the show anymore, it's on and you're doing, something else. I hope to never get to that state. But again, season 1 and also the Flux series, as well as series 11 and 12, did not do any favors. You could even say the last little bit of Stephen Moffat was less than stellar. So, yeah. Let's see, what do I want? Okay, next, Doctor Who airtime is confirmed. So we have The Robot Revolution, the season 15 opener, will be released on the 12th of April, 2025, coming to BBC iPlayer at 8 a.m. and airing at 6:50 p.m. on BBC One. Also, similar details to that release on Disney Plus for everybody who's not in the English countryside or the greater UK. One thing that I think is going to be interesting, though, is there's an article that I found revolving around, let's see, which one is it? Sorry, I have a couple articles up. Okay, so it's from the express.co.uk, and it says, Doctor Who at risk of axe as it battles major schedule clash. So, we do have that fun rhymey thing that occurred. I will tell you, regarding this article, I do disagree, but I could also see, reasons to agree at the same time. It's discussing about some scheduling conflicts with later on in the second season of Doctor Who, mainly May 17th. So it says, besides it having, Anita Dobson, Rose Ayling-Ellis, and whatnot, it says this show that is its grand entry could face scheduling hassles as the broadcast is pinned for an action-packed Saturday on May 17th, a slot that might vanish if the FA Cup finals extend to extra times and penalties. So you have the FA Cup that is going to be leading in to Doctor Who. Okay, so that is kind of, a scheduling conflict right there. Russell T. Davies says that the FA Cup is going to go live on BBC One, and then you have Eurovision going live in the evening, and we're squeezed in the middle. And I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. I think that's going to be bad possibly for the overnight numbers, but it should not affect at all the 7-day numbers and also the iPlayer numbers as well. If you really wanted to, you could easily watch it. And again, I think people who are, avidly rooting for the show's demise, which I believe those people are, just content creators just trying to make a buck and just reporting the news with kind of a jaded look at everything. So with that, I don't actually think that is a bad thing. In fact, this could possibly be a good thing if you peel back the layers. And also, unlike the Express, it said, you'd have a good lead in to Doctor Who if the game does not go into extended time. Then you have Doctor Who. Then Doctor Who leads into Eurovision. So you have two high caliber shows leading into, at one point in time, one of the BBC number one, if not number two, probably because of Top Gear before the whole thing with Jeremy Clarkson went down and they decided to boot them. And then, Jeremy Clarkson and the crew has the last laugh revolving around everything. But, it might not be a bad thing for it to have a good lead-in. Now, I guess you could say the thing that a lot of people will be looking at also is the TV being turned off at the end of the FA Cup. Because, Doctor Who is a British staple. It is part of the culture. However, it is not everybody's culture. It is, at the end of it, it's a sci-fi show that is a family show too. But I think, you cannot escape the sci-fi-ness of it. And not everybody believes sci-fi is something that they like to do. So you will have a lot of TVs turning off from the FA Cup. And then you're going to probably have a lot of TVs turning on at the very beginning of Eurovision. And I think that a lot of people are going to pre-laugh at that situation right there. But it is nothing that we should shake a stick at, because anybody who, and if the episode is good, then I think it actually lends it to, probably more going back and watching the previous ones that are available currently on the streaming services, basically on the iPlayer. But I think, and I want to get I'm trying to find the breakdown of the episodes, because I'm curious which episode that's going to be. It says it's the one with Rose Ailing Ellis or whatnot. Anyway, I'm not going to be looking for that because that'll take me forever. But again, I don't think that's that bad of a thing to occur. Now, I think, let's see, one of the things that has been discussed with, and it's something that I think I could see it being a problem and also not a problem at the same time. According to Game Rant, Doctor Who fans hate one aspect of the 15th Doctor, and it still hasn't been fixed for season 2. And I will say, if Ncuti continues on in the role, I don't think it's going to be saved for the season 3 or whatnot. And that's basically Ncuti Gatwa. His Doctor lacks a memorable outfit going against the traditional signature piece. You have all of these, you have Tom Baker's scarf. You have the 5th Doctor's cricket outfit with celery. You have the 6th Doctor's, coat of many colors. Sylvester McCoy's sweater that has all the question marks on it and whatnot. You have, the grunge kind of Ninth Doctor. You have the 10th Doctor with suit and, a pair of high top sneakers and whatnot. Like, everybody has their signature. The only one that I would say is not a good one was the 12th Doctor's hoodie. I don't think that was a good one, but and then also the stupid Sonic glasses. Yeah. But people who cosplay will probably cosplay themselves with, gray hair too. So I think it might be, but then the only thing that you have to worry about is, are you John Pertwee? No, you don't have any, fluffy, this and that, or any frills right there. But I think it's quite interesting that they do, when they do period pieces, when we had the, what was it? The Bridgerton episode or whatnot. He is in a period timepiece. He does have kind of like that brown leather coat that he wears from time to time, but I don't think because it's not consistent enough. I don't think you have a memorable outfit but it also at the same time could be fun for people going cosplaying. You could have a crew of 7 different people wearing 7 different shooties outfits. Now, the struggle would be for most people, because of the iconicness of the Doctor's role and because of just how important the outfit is for everybody involved. I think that, you could have these 7 people lined up in a row, and there's a chance that nobody knows, or maybe one of them might know, oh, that one's the 15th Doctor, but I don't know what the other ones are. And then you could be like, oh, they're all the 15th Doctor. Okay. Very well, I guess. Next, Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies confirms it. Mrs. Flood is a villain. Interesting. Now, even though she's dressed in white, with that being released, and I'm not sure, there's speculation she could be the Ronnie. I really hope she's not a female master or another iteration of Missy. I think it would be fun because of the whole opposite thing. I think it'd be fun if she was actually like the Black Guardian. However, you say that, and she allows herself to get wiped out at the very end or of whatnot, and you'd think that she'd be able to stop it. I think unless she realized that she was going to come back, she has the grander thing. I don't think that she could be as a big character such as the Black Guardian. I think it'd be fun because one of the pictures that they show her is with a white coat with a white umbrella, and I'd love it to be the Black Guardian at the same exact time. I'm not sure who Mrs. Flood is. I really hope that it is actually makes sense, unlike the 2-part ender of season 1, because that certainly did not. Yeah, and when I would not mind if they actually created a brand new Time Lord, especially because possibly Pip and Jane Baker estate not allowing the Ronnie to be used. I do think that it'd be fun for Russell to create somebody who could be the Doctor's antagonist that also has a better story. I don't like that in multiple occasions she's talked to the camera and broken the fourth wall, meaning that she could be some sort of Land of Fiction mine robber situation that was discussed in the previous podcast with Liam. So I'm going to be interested to find out what that is as well. But yeah, one of the things is, could she be one of the gods coming to plague the world of Doctor Who? Is she behind the Doctor not being able to get Belinda back to Earth? Now, that's an interesting thing revolving around, the tagline for season 2 is get her home. And the only reason why I think that's odd is what would prevent him from getting her home, unless getting her home, she has to stay at a fixed point in time, because the point in which she gets, she should be there is a fixed point in time, and her being there would change and affect history, and the TARDIS does not want to do that. That's the only thing that makes sense regarding the whole get at home thing, because, it's not like, the first Doctor, who he has no control over anything. The third Doctor, who is basically banished to Earth unless, you have the Time Lords granting him permission to actually, travel to different far-off worlds. So I think that there's a lot of interesting things that could be happening with Mrs. Flood. I think there's a lot more questions that at the moment, but of course that's the way it should be in all honesty. So, yeah. Let's see. What do I want? Next. Oh, okay. So before I get to Big Finish news and all this other fun stuff, I'm going to go on to the speculation of Ncuti leaving the role of Doctor Who. Okay. So we have Wales Online, which has an article that says Doctor Who boss rules out too expensive star to play Doctor Who if Ncuti Gatwa leaves the role. So, released on the 3rd of April, 2025, we have this article that discusses basically Russell T Davies saying that they can't afford Michael Sheen to replace the Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor, which is interesting because I feel as though I went and found an article because it came out around the time that there was questions and beliefs that, Ncuti Gatwa was going to be leaving the role of Doctor Who. He'd already taken off the two boxes or two hearts in a blue box off of his, Instagram or whatnot. And, the lack of commitment from so many other things. They scrubbed the idea from that season 3 could be a thing from the Graham Norton show. They've also scrubbed the Radio Times article at one point in time that discussed Russell T Davies working on scripts for the 3rd season. Like, all of those things have been reported on over the last calendar year, and they've all been scrubbed and wiped away. So one of those things where you almost want to believe the leave, I guess. So according to the Scotsman.com, it says, by now there are reports that Ncuti is set to hang up the sonic screwdriver after 2 seasons, with no 3rd season yet confirmed by Disney and the BBC, who co-own the franchise. The rumors have inevitably led to speculation. Who will be the next Doctor to play the Time Lord? Here are the 9 favorites according to bookies. So as of February, the bookies that you can place bets on, this is their favorites. And number 1 at a, let's see, 4 to 6 odds. So the highest odds is David Tennant. Now, here's what I would like. I would not mind another, specials situation. Maybe Ncuti dies. Maybe that. I think something needs to happen with the whole by regenerated Doctor. I don't like how it traveled back through his timeline. I don't also like the idea that it would travel up through his timeline either. I think that is a lot of mess. And I think either the 14th Doctor, David Tennant, needs to dissolve into nothing and die, or the 15th Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa's portrayal, has to die somehow. And so I think it would be fun if you basically had Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor. Now, I know some people would not be a fan of it because they could read into it, well, they'd only done it to a Black Doctor, whatever. Just, you know what? Just leave the fandom in general, please. If you're going to be uptight about that, just leave the fandom and hang up your sonic screwdriver. And you know what? Be a Star Wars fan. Yeah. But you have David Tennant as the highest odd pick to replace Ncuti. And again, I think that would make more sense if they could bring back David Tennant. Maybe they either recombine with, they recombine and then they form a new one. I don't think I like that. I think I would actually prefer Ncuti and the Doctor to team up and then one of them dies, causing maybe a regeneration for the other one. There is no body regeneration because that was a dumb idea to begin with. And yeah. Then next they have Linda West, which is 4-1. I don't know who she is. It says years and years star Linda West is already part of Doctor Who universe, having voiced the character of Vivina in an audio play, Doctor Who the Sorcerer of Albion. All right. Okay, I guess that's a thing. Then we have Ollie Alexander. All right. I believe he has also been mentioned a couple of other times. This is why I'm completely out on Ollie Alexander as famous for his singing. Nope. No, I don't want a musical. I think there's definitely going to be a musical episode in the season 2, and I do not want him. Number 4 is, and it's funny because the Scotsman has odds for all of them, but number 4 is Michael Sheen. And it says David Tennant's Good Omens co-star Michael Sheen is also tipped to the helm of the TARDIS. His odds are 6-1. Okay, so 6-1. Okay. And now I need to click over to the next screen so that they can get the page clicks for everything. All right, then we have Omari Douglas, best known for Channel 4's drama It's a Sin. Omari is blah blah blah, and he is also 6-1. Okay. I've never seen It's a Sin, and I don't know who he is. Lenny Harris. Okay, so I know that name. He's a comedian, but according to this, he is 9-1 odds. I don't think that'd be a good fit. Is it Michaela Cole? I believe. I think she was one that was like, the highest believed to be the replacement for Peter Capaldi, if memory serves me right, many, many years ago. Tania Miller is 12-1. She is, let's see, she played the General in Hellbent. No, let's not do a Peter Capaldi, this face and stuff like that. I don't want that to be a storyline also. And then we have Hugh Grant, which I actually would be all for. Sign me up. Hugh Grant. I think that could be so fun. He's recently, done the Paddington 2, The Heretic, which I'm very excited to watch on Max. It looks fantastic. I want. So Hugh Grant is one of those characters. If you ever watch the panel comedian show, Would I Lie to You? It's one of those stories where you hear and you're just like, that sounds horrific. I want that to be true. That sounds so bad. I need this to be, I want the worst one possible to be true. And not that saying that Hugh Grant is the worst one possible. I actually don't. I think that would be great. I think it would be fun that if they even, connected to Doctor Who and the Curse of the Fatal Death. I think that would be also a fantastic connection with that too. So those are my thoughts on who I think the next Doctor should be. And yeah, no clue about some of these other people. I'm just going to end the show right now with looking at some Big Finish news and what is up on the docket. I have some time this week. I'm so excited. I'm going to be able to listen for the first time in the longest time some Doctor Who stuff as I am getting ready for spring break, and I'm going to be moving stuff. I will finally have time in my day to listen to Big Finish audio. And so in doing so, I know it's could be annoying, but I'm going to take it back to January of this year. I know I have a lot of holes in all of 2024. And actually, do you know what I should? Okay, I'm going to focus on January 2025 and just kind of go down everything. Should I? Or should I go? I'm going to go all the way back to 2024. All right, I apologize for this. So, This is going to be super fantastic. Okay. Oh, all right. So Doctor Who Centaurans versus Rootons. Okay, I've listened to two of the 4 in the series, and that I do need to cap that off. I really like the first one with the Eighth Doctor. What was it? The second one, was that with the Third Doctor? I believe Third Doctor one was okay. I believe the. I mean, I might have to actually re-listen to it, but if memory serves me right, it's one of those that I feel was predictable, but also not predictable at the same exact time too. Just revolving around the characters who were the Rootons in the Third Doctor story. The one that I do need to listen to, and maybe this is what I'll do, is the First Doctor Adventures, The Fugitive, the Doctor, which brings Vicky. The last time I tried to listen to it, I downloaded it, put it on my phone. Did not download it using the app. I just decided to listen to it the old-fashioned way. And the chapters and whatnot, the tracks were all over the place. So actually, I think I'm going to be listening to the First Doctor Adventures, Fugitive of the Doctor, because I think I'd love to get that. And I'm just going to click on this to see what, if any. Nope, there is no notable. Oh my word. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh my word. Let's just. There is no notable release. Let's see. Fugitive. All right. Here we are. Fugitive of the Daleks. All right. So it has an average rating of 8.2. So, okay. And the people that have rated it, 9, 5, 10. I hate 10 ratings. Unless it is absolutely perfect. There's no reason why it needs to be a 10. All right. So that was January of 2024. So yeah, I think the First Doctor Adventure is definitely going to be on there. You do have the 11th Doctor, which I will get to listening to this 11th Doctor, Chronicles of the 11th Doctor, that I've heard so much greater things about. It has won multiple awards, I believe, for just how good it is. Again, I have Children of the Future, which is the Third Doctor. Oh, it's the Sarah Jane one. It wasn't Joe. I do need to listen to the Third Doctor Adventures, Revolution in Space. I love that. And anything else that came out in February of 2024, not going to listen to. Okay, maybe this is it. The Fourth Doctor Adventures, Series 13, Storm of the Sea Devils. That box set right there. And that does have Naomi Cross and Harry Sullivan in that. Maybe I might have to. And then we have the Centauran versus Rutan, Born to Die with the Sixth Doctor and Charlie. Oh man, no. And then the Sixth Doctor Adventures, Quinn Dilemma. Okay, that's where I'm starting. I'm starting January 2024, and I'm going to be working my way back. Okay, it's all solved. It is all solved. Okay. However, I'm just going to be curious to see what is new. So we have Planet Chronoid, which there is a free excerpt that I really want to give that a listen to. The only thing that just annoys me is, and that is so smart. They released it the same month that The Last of Us Season 2 is coming out. That is really smart. They could really get some, if this is as good as I could hope it to be, they could really get a good, connection from the HBO series. I think if it's really heavily tied to Doctor Who and not just a world of Doctor Who, I think that could possibly hurt it. But yeah. And so we have 3 stories in Planet Chronoid, and the summary is: for 100 years, sunlight has been a beacon of hope and shining across the troubled galaxy. An artificial parasite on a frozen world, offering safe haven for the super rich, and employment for even the poorest of laborers. At least that's what they advertise. Unfortunately, Governor Robert Hoden, one of the engineers, just discovered a pair of strange-looking pods lodged in the satellite. So sunlight, that glittering verdant oasis will never be the same again because, as the Doctor knows only too well, on planets where crinoids get established, the vegetation eats the animals. All right. And we got 3 stories: Sunlight by Jonathan Morris, Sunset by Jonathan Powell, and Darkness by Chris Chapman. All right. Interesting. And it looks like this is going to be kind of an Eighth Doctor story because we have Reese Shearsmith and Paul McGann as the starring roles. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be like, just the Doctor comes by for just a quick wink and a nod and out the door. But yeah. And there is a free excerpt I might have to check that out. All right, well, I guess with that, I'm just going to conclude this podcast. Please email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at Alhambra Podcast. DMs are open. And until next time, we will see you in time.
You have been listening to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Doctor Who is owned and trademarked by the BBC. Doctor Who Alhambra is not affiliated with the BBC or Big Finish. No infringement is intended. Visit our website at alhambrapodcast.weebly.com or email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet us at Alhambra Podcast. That is ALHAMBRA Podcast. Thank you.